in the blinkered vision. Rose-colored glasses lead the way. Always looking in the wrong place, where warning signs were missed each day. Red flags hidden by emotion. Red flags hidden by seduction. Red flags sway before our eyes, but we can't see through love's disguise. Whoa. Always looking in the wrong place, expecting truth from twisted minds, failing in pursuit of passion, leaving senses far behind. Red flags, red flags, waving high, I close my eyes. Red flags, red flags, truth disguised in pretty lies. Red flags, can't ignore them anymore. Red flags, they were warnings I ignored. Time to reassess our actions. All that glitters can't be gold. Time to dig a little deeper. Hear the stories left untold. Red
Hello and welcome to my first live stream on the Jay Slater case. I've done many a live stream, quite good in front of the camera. But this is a serious case, but I thought, do you know what? We're a week away from Halloween, so let's give ourselves a Halloween environment. I also want to have an environment where we can all chat to each other. If you don't agree with what we say over it, fine. Just come with it. Come with it in the chat. I welcome one and all to my live stream. So, my goodness me, when I decided that I might do this live stream tonight, I was just basically, I mean, there's so much in the Jay Slater case. It's not difficult to sort of find one little bit to talk about. Let's be honest. There's so much out there. And it's been going on for over a year. I think the very first of my videos was a year ago, contrary to what somebody has said in my chat. Oh, you're a bit late to the story, aren't you? No. I've been covering it for some time, but I cover it in a different way. I cover it mainly by, trying to encourage people to talk on what they believe. I don't come with the 10,000 receipts like some people do, but I do talk on the case. I know a lot about the case. I watch the best Jay Slater channels out there, which is of course Wax Unfiltered, and also Duncan. Love me some Dunks. So, and also Mama D. They're my top people. I mean, back in the day, there used to be someone that I really liked as well, Joseph Morris, but he sort of stopped doing the case for some time. But anyway, move on, Jan, move on. The reason I want to move on is because I want to talk about this, guys. Have you seen this? Have you seen it? And I must apologise because I was late coming on tonight. The reason I was late coming on is because I was downloading this. And for some reason, StreamYard is like, Jan, are you having a laugh? No, you're not doing that. You've already programmed a live, so just stick to the live. So anyway, that's why I was late. For those of you that don't know, this is the Telegraph. The Telegraph. Oh, that's what it's called, the channel. Okay, so interestingly, the title reads, Jay Slater's Mum. How online trolls made my life hell. I must say, I used to be an English teacher, so I do know my English. Now, the way they've written this is so poor. It's awful. So we've got capital letters, yeah, Jay Slater's mum. Mum should be capital letter. Then we've got a dash. How online I mean, another capital letter there. I mean, who wrote this? I mean, are these journalists that are writing it? I don't know. There's over, they've got over 6 million subscribers. You'd think they'd be able to write a correct, grammatically correct English title, and they haven't. Anyway, so what I want to do, without waffling too long, is to go over this with you guys. And, yeah, just to react. And for those not in the know, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to do that over YouTube, or on YouTube. But just in case they decided they were going to flag this video and pull it or whatever, I've downloaded it. No. So that means I can put up another video in the week where I've added a little bit of transformation in there, because that's what they want. So let's have a look and let's just hear what this is about. Did I tell you what it was about? It's about Jay Slater's mum. Oh, Lordy, Miss Claudie, running with the what mainline media are trying to run with the whole time, which is that it is the trolls that have destroyed the family. Yeah, really? Really, though? Anyway, let's get on with it. Oh, I've got to keep an eye on the chat, haven't I? Right, nobody chatting yet? Fine, that's fine and dandy. That means I can just get on with this. Here we go. Come on, Missy.
Online trolls. On today's Daily Tea, I'm joined by Jay Slater's mum, Debbie Duncan.
There was just that many conspiracies about it's not Jay, and obviously his injuries. He got, the video, going back to the video, he was stabbed on a beach, and the other one about him being shot. And I just thought, you know what?
I need to ask, although nobody's speaking, we've got 10 people in here, nobody talking. Can you just tell me if you can hear this? Because it'll be a bit annoying for me to go through all this and you can't hear the video. So can you please let me know? Let me see if I can just tweak. There, it's not letting me tweak it. Or why won't you let me tweak that? Let me go into... I just want to check that this is actually going to work. It's so bloody annoying. Where are we? Guests. Right. No. All right, okay, we're going on with it. You can hear me fine. That's great to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, okay, let's get out of there. And what else was I going to do? Right, okay, let's get going with this, because otherwise I'll waffle on forever. Here we go.
As awful as it is for us, we need to do it. We need to get the facts out there.
Debbie, Duncan, lovely to see you in the Daily Tea studios, although it's always really difficult doing these interviews because we're talking about a personal and family tragedy for you.
Anyone know who this bird is? Anyone know her? Because I want to follow her on Twitter. Hi, Funky. And hey, Dunks. Do you want to come up, sweetie? Just to screw up my my audio. Come on up. What I'll do, I'll give you the link here, and then you can get yourself up here and we can see what happens. Duncan says her name is Camilla Crapface. Do you know? I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, I think that would be a good name for her. Anyway, what I want you to notice, guys, right, before I play this, I want you to notice how she leads the questions and also how she leads the answers. Because Debbie, bless her, isn't the most articulate of people. But even so, I put the link in, Dunks. Even so, I don't think it's very fair that she should be leading Debbie into her answers. Before Dunks comes up here, I need to do something to make sure that I can get him on the screen. Where do I want him? Shall I put him on the other side? Sorry. Those of you that are familiar with my channel will know I'm an absolute fool. But I try my best. So let's see how we can do this. We've got Dunks who's coming up on stage. Here we go. Where are you, Dunks? Right, can't see you. Where are you? Can anyone see Duncan? I've lost him. I've lost him in my busy room. Duncan, switch on your camera, darling.
Yeah, camera's on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But I can't see you, darling. Where are you? Put your camera on. Where are you?
Camera's
Is
on,
it?
right? I'm just off your screen. Hang on a sec.
Right, hang on one sec. It's probably me. Sorry about this, guys. Just talk amongst yourselves. Right, let's see. So let me go into here and see. Where am I? Oh, add an item. Add Dunks. Let's get Dunks. Camera slot. No, I want Dunks on. Right, hang on one sec. I need to do this. Just as well I know what I'm doing, eh? Add an item. Right, I want Dunks on now. Where is he? Camera slot. Oh, there you are. Can people see you now? Right, hang on one sec. Hang on one sec. Dunks, you're going on the other side, all right? Just so that we don't upset. Just so that we don't upset Mrs. Smith. Right, okay, you're on. You're on. Yay. Right, can everyone hear everything? Just let me know quickly in the chat. We've got Cortster in here. Great to see you. We've got Teresa in the house. We've got Pam. Duncan, did you see this?
I've seen it once all the way through, and I've watched it for the second time, the first part. And I really want to see the part that you're at now, because what you just said, Jan, is so true. That this is that island interview repeated. You know, Ida with Brad, basically Ida giving him the answers. And you just mentioned it. A person is really getting the answers. But it's a good watch. This.
Yes, it is a good watch. Guys in the chat, can you please let us know that audio is fine for all of us, for both myself, for Dunks, and also the video. Can you just let me know before we move on? Otherwise we're going on strike. Oh, you're echoing. All right. Duncan's echoing. Let me see. Let's get into yours. Edit your mic. Okay. Let's see. Is that... Oh, hang on. Okay. Is that better? Is that better? Can you talk, Duncan?
I'm talking now.
Yeah, can you hear... Is that better now? I've tweaked it, as it were.
I can hear an echo, but it's very, very faint. That's the only bit.
Bloody StreamYard drives me nuts. Is this better from Duncan? Right, you might need to mute on YouTube.
Okay, let me try to... Hold on a second.
No, don't mute there. I've lost you.
Can you hear anything now?
I can hear you. Right, edit mic.
But with the echo.
You should be all right now. Is that better, guys? Please say it's better. In the meantime... Yeah?
Is that okay? Yeah.
Hi, Fiona. Right, let's listen to this because I was like, oh my God, I need to talk about this tonight. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's do that again. We'll press the right... Still echoing. Damn.
And it's not been long since Jay died. How have you all been doing in the time since? Gosh.
Well, obviously it's... we're...
Great. Bloody advert. Alright, off we go.
we're over a year on, but it just feels like time stood still, really. It's not been an easy ride. Yeah, it's just like, feels like yesterday, really. It's just all so raw because we've had, obviously, inquests and things to wait for, so...
And we're going to be talking about how difficult people in the online world have made your lives on top of what has been the most horrific thing a parent can ever experience, to be honest. It's always struck me that you've always wanted to say in interviews that you don't want Jay to be remembered by his death but by his life.
Exactly.
So tell us what he was like.
He was just a typical 19-year-old. He worked hard and he played hard and he saved, and he was just so looking forward to his first holiday on his own. He'd started...
See, now that's quite interesting because we've heard her say that she had to push him to go. She had to persuade him to go. So, yeah, that's very interesting that she should say that. Dunks, are you there?
I'm here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Right, I'm just thinking maybe not on mine, maybe on you. Let me see. This is so annoying. Right, I'm going to get a new computer soon. I'm done with this. It's just getting right on my nerves. Right, now, if I just see if I can... Right, edit. I'm going to put you on... Why is it doing the... Alright, take that out. See if that's any different. Okay.
I'm trying to work on my end. Let me get rid of
Okay.
echo.
Yeah, it's so annoying, isn't it, eh? What happens is you have to actually come into the StreamYard's studio, turn off the YouTube page. If you've got a YouTube page on, turn that off because you don't need to be in both.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Let me do that.
Yeah, and just be in the StreamYard. That should make a difference.
That's where I am now.
Right, have you turned off?
Still got the echo.
Have you turned off the... I can't hear an echo. Have you turned off...
I can.
Yeah, you might need headphones then. I don't know.
Okay.
Have you got an echo now? Oh, the joys of live streaming.
Okay, let's try again. I don't think it's going to make a difference. Put the headphones on.
It sounds much better to me anyway. Anyway, let's just talk about this, because it's really annoying when, you know, we just spend the whole time bloody talking about the text of it all. I think what we do, if we don't talk on each other, that may help. So what do you want to say about this bit, the bit where I've forgotten what she's saying now? I found it quite interesting that when she was asked what Jay was actually like, she gives very little detail about, you know, what was he like growing up? Was he good in school? You know, just general things. If people were to ask me what one of my kids was like, I'd be able to give a much more varied description of what my children were like. What do you think about that, Dunks? Am I echoing?
I was just going to say, I think we've been through this before.
Okay. All right. Well,
we keep getting these interviews. We only hear about the beautiful life Jay had, and no questions are ever brought up on, you know, the very difficult background that he obviously had.
Exactly. And I think, again, as we go further through this, you'll notice how much is actually missed out about this. This, again, is all about slagging off content creators. That's what it's about. So let's move on to more.
Going to festivals and travelling about, and yeah, he was just so excited about it.
A cheeky chappy with a big personality.
He was, yes, he had a massive personality. He was very popular, very loved. Yeah, he was.
Oh, he wasn't that popular and loved, because didn't you have things thrown through your windows? So, yeah, okay, carry on.
People like to be in Jay's company, you know, from being at a young age up to you know, when he went away.
And he goes away to Tenerife in June 2024 on a first holiday without you guys?
First holiday without us watching over him, yeah.
Excited, presumably?
Excited, very excited.
No, he wasn't. You'd already said that you had to nigh on force him to go. So, yeah, okay.
First festival abroad as well, so, yeah.
He's doing what any 19-year-old used to do with his summer, right? Just go out, have some fun, have a few drinks, enjoy.
Let me tell you, I've had 4 19-year-olds. Okay, that's how old I am. I've had 4 19-year-olds, and not one of them has done what Debbie Duncan's 19-year-old has done. No, it's not. And I think this is what is irritating to me, that this woman is leading the conversation. She's leading the question. She's leading the answers. Yeah, well, he was just a typical 19-year-old. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a typical 19-year-old. I've had 4 of them, and none of them have done the things that Jay Slater did before he even went to Tenerife. And I think that's why it really annoys me. As Kortster says, he was a Jack the Lad. He wanted to be a big man, but wasn't up to it. Hyper. It's funny because, you know, when you look at the pictures of, I don't know if you feel the same way, Dunks, but when you actually do look at the pictures of Jay amongst the others, he does look a bit like the weakest link. He has that sort of look about him. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I don't want to call him gormless. He's no longer with us, bless him. I'm not here to slag him off at all. But when you look at him next to, say, Brad even, Brad's a good-looking boy. You know, he probably gets all the girls after him. And then you've got Jay standing there. And even just looking at the way Jay stood, is a good indication of how he felt about himself. He was very shrunken in, you know, there was no big bravado. And I think that needs to be taken into account. Did you notice that, Dunks?
Going back to your first point, I think it's absurd that this woman is trying to tell us it's quite normal to go into a convicted drug dealer's car, you know, at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. That's just stupid. She knows it's stupid. I would have asked her, I said, Priscilla, when was the last time you went to a drug dealer in the street at 5 in the morning? I mean, it's absurd. But yeah, Jay does look the type that really needed someone to guide him everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, and I can recognise that. I've worked with teens. I worked with teens for 8 years. I know you can't just say, oh, he's just a typical 19-year-old. Typical 19-year-old going out on his first holiday abroad. One of my daughters did it at round about that age. She went to Tenerife. She went to the same place that Jay went to.
Right.
And she came back safely. She went with a group of her girlfriends. I think there was only about 4 of them in all. And off they went. Yes, they were excited. Yes, they had a fantastic time. Yes, they came back perfectly happy after experiencing their first holiday. And guess what? They didn't get embroiled in the dark underbelly of Tenerife. You know, so for this woman, this journalist, to try and paint that as, you know, hey guys, he was just an ordinary guy. No, he wasn't. He wasn't just a regular 19-year-old. So let's move on.
Enjoy life.
Yeah.
You see him off at the airport, everything's okay until the moment, and I'm sorry to ask you to relive it briefly, Debbie, until the moment his friend Lucy calls you. Just tell me about that moment.
Obviously, I've been in touch with Jay since he landed, spoke to him every day. I'd spoke to him on the Sunday evening, and then I was at work on Monday, and I got a phone call from Lucy Monday afternoon. Jay's gone missing. What do you mean, Jay's gone missing?
See, I think we have to stop. We have to jump on that, guys. So Lucy, according to Debbie, didn't phone until the afternoon. But he'd been missing since 8 o'clock, yeah? The last conversation she had with him, Lucy, was 8 o'clock, yeah? So why did she leave it 5-6 hours or longer to contact her mother? Dunks?
I don't know, but again, we've got the interviewer almost feeding her the answer that, you know, Lucy was scared to call the mother. And I don't think that idea has come up before. In fact, Debbie Duncan originally said, you know, why didn't she call me, or why didn't she do something? Why didn't she go up there? Originally, Debbie was asking those questions of Lucy. Why didn't you do this, that, and the other? It now seems Debbie's fine with what Lucy didn't do, and this interviewer is now making up new excuses. I don't know if we've just heard it or not, but this moment where the interviewer says, well, you know, Lucy must have been scared to call the mum. That's a new one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I've worked it out, Dunks. When you talk, I mute. Okay?
Okay.
We've worked it out. So, yeah. Hey, I'm happy. Absolutely right there. And this was the bit that I picked up. That was the first thing that I picked up, Duncan, was that this woman was feeding Debbie Duncan everything. So let's go on playing a bit more. Or no, let's look in the chat first, shall we? Right. Excuse me. Debbie Duncan said she wishes Lucy had called her. Yes, that's what I mean. Why was there at least 5 or 6 hours before Lucy called her mother, or called Debbie. Why? Doesn't make sense to me. Let's move on.
Well, we were all out. He's gone off somewhere, and he's miles away. And I mean, she were absolutely distraught, obviously. But I mean, she'd done the right things at the time. I just wish she'd have called me a bit earlier, but she was petrified.
Well, probably afraid that they'd all get in trouble. Why have they lost?
Well, I think it was just a case of Jay was, he loved meeting other people, and he'd often wander on a night out talking to different people.
That's a new one. That's a new one. He was so sociable. He was so sociable. He was a magnet to all these people. Come on. Dunks, I can see you laughing. What are you going to say about that one?
I was going to say, most people like the idea of being really magnetic, that they're a real charmer. People are drawn to them. In this case, it didn't quite work out. I've never really understood. I mean, Jan, if I can just put you in Debbie's position here, if you get a call from Lucy and Lucy's trying to explain what happened, I think one of the first questions you're going to have for Lucy is, well, who did he go home with? Who are these people? Right? That's going to be your first or second question. And what is Lucy then going to say? Is she then going to lie to Debbie Duncan and say what she said to the whole world? I don't know. I never met them. Jay met them that night. Is she going to lie to Debbie Duncan at that point? And am I right, Jan? I mean, you put yourself in Debbie's position. Someone calls you and says your kid is missing. Is the first or second question is, well, who's he gone with, right? Who did he go with? And we've never heard what Debbie actually said, I don't think, in that conversation. I don't know what she said.
You're absolutely right. I think, if I ever did get that dreaded call, oh my God, yes, the first thing would be who he went with. Yeah. Why was he on his own? I mean, why did he go in this car on his own with these dudes? Even if he knew them, why? Why did you let him go with these dudes? But yeah, you're absolutely right there. So let's go on.
So I think it was just, well, he's just going to turn up, he's just going to make his way back. But then obviously in that short space of time that morning when she knew, how far away he was, well, I think she was just frightened of telling his mum as well.
Yes, of course.
So it would just...
So can you still hear all the gaps? All the gaps there? We're learning nothing, Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing.
It was just sheer panic. She'd already contacted the consulate, so that's what I did straight away. Phoned the British consulate in London. They'd already had a record of it. They advised me to report it to our local police, which I did. And then they said, we'll send somebody round to speak to you. So I couldn't even drive home, it were awful. My boss drove me home and my other sons that came round. But it's a bit of a blur, really, sat there thinking, what do we do?
No.
It's quite interesting that, everything's a bit of a blur. I'm telling you, I would remember word for word what was said to me at that time. You know that you have to keep all that information in. It's so important. The timings, what this girl said to her. So she's got this call, for this random call. Did she already have, what's her name? What's the girl? Lucy? Yeah, did she already have Lucy's phone number? So when the call came through, did she recognise it as Lucy? I'm going to let you talk because I'm going to have a quick thingy. So I'm going to... Right, yeah. So what do you think? Did she know? And why is she leaving everything out? Did she recognise Lucy's number?
Yeah, as far as I know, as far as I know, Lucy and Debbie had known each other for quite some time. I mean, Lucy and Jay go back quite a way, quite a few years, I think. Debbie's always kind of boasted that Jay was always calling her from other people's number. Jay went to Creamfields, Lucy was there. So, yeah, it's my understanding that Debbie knew Lucy quite well. And I have a feeling Debbie knew Lucy's mother quite well. Turns out later on in this, we learned that it was Lucy's mother that put up that first missing person notice with Debbie's phone number on it via Facebook, I think. So yeah, I would say assumption number one, Debbie and Lucy knew each other fairly well, would have had each other's number. And yeah, I can't understand this going home and not trying to find out immediately as much as she possibly could. I mean, I totally get the idea that Debbie's in a state of shock, but at the same time, 101 things must be going through Debbie's head again. Who are these people and how did this happen? And Lucy has or should have all the answers, or most of the answers. And to this day, I think, to this day, Debbie and Lucy haven't really sat down, or we haven't heard about it, had a conversation and gone through minute by minute what could have happened to Jay. And I guess that's the point where a lot of content creators jump in and say, well, unless we know that, and unless Debbie's coming forward to explain what kind of conversation she's had with Jay's friends, we're not happy that Debbie's actually tried to find out what happened to Jay. I'm going off on a bit of a rant here, but there's this one other aspect of this which is never touched on, ever touched on in these interviews, and that is why Debbie hasn't really approached the likes of Brandon to find out his side of it. This is the most absurd thing. Brandon doesn't show up Inquest Part 1. Brandon doesn't show up Inquest Part 2. And I think we were told that Debbie had that summons to give to Brandon when she went to Tenerife in May. She didn't do that. She didn't manage to do that. I would say she didn't try to do it, or she didn't even intend to do it. I don't know. And never in these interviews is there ever a question about when you talk to Jay's best friends, what could they tell you? I can only assume that Debbie Duncan didn't actually speak to them or hasn't spoken to them in depth, not trying to find out what happened to Jay. I don't know.
I agree with you. And as a mother, I know I know my automatic thing would be to want to know every single detail. Every single detail. When was the last time you saw him then? Why did you let him go off on his own? You know, who are the people he was with? Blah, de blah. My God. I mean, I can't understand that. And I mean, I get a bit of flack because I do talk on it, but I talk on it as a mother from a mother's perspective. I don't talk on it as a troll. I'm not an internet troll. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and so my perspective will come from being a mother and a grandmother. And I cannot, as a mother, imagine not wanting to know every single detail. I just can't. And that's what really infuriates me about Debbie. You know, she sits here, she's got the same, you know, the same, I can't think of the word, where she just slumped in the chair. Oh, woe is me, woe is me. Now, well, I got a call, one of his friends told. Yeah, what else do you know, Debbie? You know, and
Yeah.
I'm not a hateful person. I'm quite the opposite. And but it just infuriates me that this person is a mother and she seemed perfectly happy to accept what somebody was saying to her on the end of the phone. I just don't get it. I'm going to read the chat now. We've got somebody called Paul. And Paula said, if you look at Jay when he was younger, he was a bit of a pretty boy and he is easily led. Like people saying he was. Perhaps he got involved in something we shouldn't talk about. Quite possibly. You know, quite possibly. I mean, I've already touched on the thoughts I've had when I've looked at Jay. He doesn't look like a big tough lad to me. Quite the opposite. He was scrawny. You know, if you saw him in his group of friends, you know, just looking at, if we just put him in a picture with Brandon, Brad, Lucy, if we just put him in that picture, he would look like I don't want to call him names, but he didn't look like a leader. He looked like a follower. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Another person, Courtster, has said, or maybe has spoken to them, knows the truth and is hiding it to protect his name and her safety. That's quite possible. I think that's, you know, somewhat near the truth, actually. And then Pam says, why is it always Debbie doing the interviews and never Warren? He's Jay's dad. He should be talking as well. That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought about that. What do you think about that, Dunks? Because I must say, from what I've seen about Warren, he seems a bit more articulate than Debbie.
Yeah, totally agree. Warren is either silent or gives out mixed messages. But I would also say Zach. I mean, Zach is the brother. You would have thought of all of them, the younger person in the family with all that energy and drive and outrage, you would have thought, would also be demanding interviews and shouting from the rooftop, you know, what happened to my brother? To me, it's a little bit creepy and weird that Zach almost has this vow of silence, like a conspiracy of silence, that he mustn't say a word. I think Warren probably has a lot to say, but it wouldn't go well if he started voicing, you know, if the question was, how did you feel when you got there, Warren? How do you think the Spanish police did? What do you feel about, you know, Jay's friends over there? Warren might not come down on the accident theory side. And I think that might be a reason why he's just not asked, because they know an interview with him could go really badly. Softball interviews with Debbie are an absolute audience winner because, you know, most people are the hand-wringing type and they just can't wait to point fingers at the likes of us. But yeah, Warren should be in interviews, Zach should be in interviews, and it is always Debbie with that same, and Debbie's got a funny semi-smile on her face even now, even when this interviewer is asking her about the most difficult moments of this. Debbie has this odd kind of sardonic smile, and it's almost that look of, to me, it's almost that look of, I know something here and I can't say it, but you know, here we go again. Let me tell you the story you've heard a million times. It's to be honest, it's getting a little sick is the word that comes to mind. It's getting a little sick.
I agree with you. And the word I was looking for was demeanour. Debbie has a very weird demeanour when she's talking about such a devastating thing to have happened to her. And I think when we see Zach, he also has that demeanour. So is it that they're holding back because the bigger picture is so toxic, is so rancid, they can't afford to speak on it. So Zach chooses to just be silent. He's not going to talk about it. But Debbie, for whatever reason, does talk about it. I think maybe she's been jollied along by this member of parliament at the moment. Oh, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. So I think, you know, she does get batteries put in her back, but she's the wrong person in the family. I mean, I'm laughing sort of sarcastically, really, but can you imagine from what you know of me now, Dunks, can you imagine if something like that happened to me? Oh my God. Oh my God. And I have to say, I've got a daughter, hate to say it, I've got a daughter exactly the same as me. We would be on that television, we'd be doing everything. But then we wouldn't have anything to hide, you know?
Right,
And I
exactly.
really believe that this family, specifically Debbie Duncan, and also her son, Zach, are hiding something. So let's go on a bit longer. I only wanted to do like an hour. So what I'm going to do is when we get to about an hour, I'm going to cut it because my computer can't cope with much longer. And then we can pick this up again, Dunks, another day. Yeah?
Yeah.
So otherwise we'll be here for hours and hours. And this is really an interesting thing to digest, this video. Here we go.
And I just said to Zach, you know, it got midnight. I kept ringing his friends in Tenerife. Is there any update? And then it would just.
Did you hear that? I kept ringing his friends in Tenerife. Who did you ring, Debbie? Who did you ring? Because she hasn't said, has she? She got the call from Lucy. So which friends was she ringing in Tenerife? Okay, maybe she'll tell us in a minute.
Let's just get out.
I'm very interested in trying these and seeing if they work for my aging eyes. Prime eyes.
I doubt it.
wide
Don't believe
eyeliner
any of
from-
it. Right, get off.
Out there. So.
Of course. So initially, you understood that he had been out for this night out, that he'd left in the early hours, he'd got in a car with a couple of blokes he'd met, gone to an Airbnb 14 miles away. He'd had this last conversation with Lucy. He hasn't got any water. He's on 1% battery. He thinks he can walk back to their original destination. She advises him against that. I'm spelling it out like this because it's a completely sort of plausible set of circumstances when this came.
I want to know what world this woman lives in. What?
Again, I'm sorry, Jen. The question has to come at this point. Camilla, when was the last time you did walk into a cactus-filled wilderness with 1% on your battery? You keep saying it's a totally plausible thing to happen. And yet, if you interview 1,000 people, not one of them is going to say, oh, yeah, I did that and I survived. They're all going to say, what? Who would do that? I don't understand this world that Camilla lives in. But I think we should contact Camilla, Jan, and ask her to come be interviewed because, boy, do we have a lot of rich material that we can confront her with. I don't think this Camilla person would actually survive very long with one of us that has some real questions, you know? And for you, Jan, we would have to employ someone to keep you actually in your chair. I think you would actually be out of it at her saying, just give us a bloody sensible answer.
Dunks, I've tried to hide it. I've really tried to hide it when I've been covering Jay Slater. But I'm me, you know. I have ADHD. If you want to put me in a box, you put me in that box. I'm happy. All right, put me there. But I am me. But, you know, when I started doing Jay Slater, I was like, okay, keep your ADHD down. Keep it down, keep it down. But as I've started doing more and more and more, I'm like, I can't hide who I am, and I don't believe in hiding who I am. But the bottom line is, we all of us, and I'm including Wax and Mama D and Dunks, all we ever wanted was justice for Jay. And I can't understand why people can't see that. We come from very different walks of life. You know, there's Dunks. He's very, yeah, you're not afraid to speak up. Thank God for that. And the same for Wax. We're not afraid to speak up. So, yeah, okay, I'll see if I can get in touch with her. I don't think she's gonna she's gonna answer me. Let's have a look at the chat. Oh, really? Is she the royal correspondent? Oh, yeah, I could see her there actually in that white top. Very nice. She's not going to be sat there in it with a cap on, is she? Right, okay, so we've got Sarah Baxendale. Plausible what? Why doesn't any of these people actually ask her proper questions? Yes, exactly, Sarah. That's all we want, isn't it, Dunks? That's all we want.
Yes.
I tell you what, Dunks has never laughed as much since he's found out who I am. He's like, oh my God, she's a nutter. I'm a nutter, but I've got the biggest heart. And all I want is justice. Okay. Right, okay. All right, so Courts has answered. Sarah, it's all staged mainstream media. It is. It's so staged. Okay. Julie Pertz amazed me. She missed out why Debbie didn't identify her son's body. We get to that. We get to that. We might not get to it in this bit. Dunks, did you see that bit where they talked about?
Absolutely, I saw it, and I was hanging on every word. And it turns out that what Debbie described was identifying Jay's clothing and belongings. But Debbie says she describes that moment of getting to the casket, yeah, and she can't hold it in. She's almost breaking down. And you think, oh my God, she's going to tell us that she actually did see the body. But no, she broke down at the bag of possessions. So without actually saying, none of us looked in that casket and identified him. We got distracted by this whole moment of great grief because his belongings were brought out. And again, the interviewer, you know, had that golden opportunity to confirm to the whole world that not one of you did actually identify Jay at that moment. Of course, she avoided that, and we were all supposed to wring our hands at the fact that, you know, I mean, obviously, very, very sad moment. You know, here's his shoes, here's his shirt, and all that. But yeah, Debbie just could not bring herself to confirm that not one of the family actually saw him then. It was a moment where you thought, you know, this is it. Are we going to learn that you actually saw him? But no, she couldn't tell us that, and interviewer had nothing to say.
Exactly. I too was waiting for her response on that. I thought, okay, she's going to tell us now that we went and identified the body. But the other thing that she's also omitted is that they were advised not to see the body. Apparently they asked to see him and they were advised, oh no, it's just too shocking for you to see. So instead they present them with a casket. I mean, Jesus, it's like... Anyway, okay, let's just play a bit more of this. And guys, we've got a lot more to go through. Dunks, are you... Where are we? Friday. Are you free Sunday night? Round about this time?
Sunday night, yeah, Sunday.
Good. All right, so let's do that. Okay, guys, we'll be back Sunday night to go over more of this. Because, as I say, we could go over this for hours. And it's not fair. It's not fair on any of you to sit there and listen to me for 3 hours. Nobody wants to do that. Okay, so let's listen to a bit more.
When first came to the public's attention, I think any mother could completely identify with you and say, there for the grace of God go I. Anyone with a son or a daughter who likes going out partying can appreciate that if they've had a bit too much to drink or something else, they may make decisions that aren't particularly wise in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
No! My kids would... Listen! My kids aren't angels. My kids dabbled in this and that, maybe. They never came home and told me, but I found out a little bit later, yeah, they dabbled. They're not perfect kids. I'm not the perfect mum. But to say... to make it such a sort of blanket statement for all 19-year-olds is insane. Stop it, woman. It's bad. Of course, there's different family dynamics and everything. Go on, Dunks.
Sorry, we've got to smile at the horrendous underestimation that this woman has of what was consumed. You know, when she says we've all gone out and had something to drink, it's like, yeah, but it wasn't the 15 vodka shots that Josh Forshaw lined up, followed by God knows what else. And then she can't actually say the word drug, so she says, and something else. Well, you know, Camilla, if the something else happens to be a load of ketamine and cocaine and God knows what else was in that cocktail of drugs, then yeah, that is a different world. But this whole downplaying of had a few drinks and something else, you know, it wasn't exactly what was consumed on that night. So again, I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of this style of interview where everything is so downplayed that it's made to seem like we've all been there, we've all done it. And the scale that Jay did it on that night is so off the scale that it's the other way round. It's like, no, no, Camilla, none of us have actually done that. And we, you know, we would probably end up the way Jay did if we did do it. It's like, you know what I mean, Jan? They sort of minimize what happened that night to we've all had a few drinks and done something or something else. That's not what happened. And shame on Camilla for phrasing it that way, and actually shame on Debbie for just nodding and saying, yeah, we've all done that. Different world.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, when my kids were sort of that age where, you know, 19s, and they went clubbing every week. But I can honestly say that they never filled themselves with the amount of toxic drink, drugs, and everything. Have you noticed that she, in this video, I don't think the word drugs is ever mentioned, which is insane. They're just talking about alcohol. We all know that Jay's body was alive. No, I shouldn't say that. Was full of toxic drink and drugs. Why are they not saying that? So I'm just going to play one more bit. Yeah, Roy says Camilla, who has always prided herself on asking pointed questions to high profile figures, sometimes embarrassing herself in the process. They all do it. They all do it. That's why I could never be. Can you imagine me as a journalist? I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't think they'd let me do it. Okay, Roy also says Warren asked to see just a scar but wasn't permitted. What's going on? That's a really good point, Roy, and we'll leap forward and we won't play any more of this. We'll we won't play any more. How far have we got up to? Literally, guys, we've only got up to six minutes. So in this rate, there should be about 25 of these live streams, all right? But you've made such a valid point here, though, Roy. When I remember, and I'm sure you remember, Dunks, when they, in the documentary, when they had dear old Mr. Shepherd there with his knife when he wasn't on the stage, when they had him talking about looking at the, you know, Jay's supposed, you know, whatever, and he was saying all the scratches on his legs and this on his arm and this on his legs. How did that happen if all they had was a casket? How did that happen? So, I mean, no wonder there are so many questions for us to answer. It's insane, guys. But we're going to get there. We are going to get there. And I'm just going to leave Dunks to say whatever he wants to say now before I end this live stream. So, yeah, go ahead, Dunks.
Yeah, just going to say that good idea. If Sunday works for you, works for me, and hopefully Sunday will work for anyone that wants to tune in. This, I tell you, there is so much in this that raises so many questions, just as the documentary did, but in particular with this incredibly softball approach that Camilla has taken, you really get a feel for how mainstream media is thrown its whole lot in with the whole accident theory. Um, and I want you, Jan, to take your time over this, because when it does get to the part of them assessing who we are, you'll hear them say, "We know nothing. We have no knowledge. Who are we to comment?" And then I think, well, I was going to say there'll be some fireworks from you, but I mean, you're kind of bouncing out of your chair anyway. But yeah, there's a part of this which I know will get you so fuming, Jan. But the whole interview, this whole spiel that we get from this Camilla person, it tells us a lot about where we are with the case and in the country generally. It's a real shocker. I keep saying this word. It's a real shocker. Not that, you know, Debbie's saying the same stuff, but the way this mainstream media fiasco is lapping it up is getting, it's getting really beyond any bounds of normality. So thanks, Jan, for getting rolling on this. I think we'll get a whole load more people involved once word is out there that the most absurd softball interview has been made, and we need to rip it apart, because it is just a shocker, this one. So let's try to get going again on Sunday, shall we?
Absolutely, Dunks. I'll expect you here about 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to doing that. And even if we only get through another 6 minutes, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So you go off, have a fabulous weekend with your missus, and I'll see you on Sunday just to ruin it for you. So I want to thank you.
See you Sunday evening, Jan.
Yeah, take care, darling. I want to say thank you so much to everybody in the chat. It was lovely that you came in, that you joined in, and yeah, hopefully you'll join me again on Sunday, because there's so much. I mean, this is just the very beginning, and I know I chat too much, but this is just the beginning. Some of the things that are said in this video are insane, guys. They're insane. And you know, the main thing I took from it is that I couldn't believe how Debbie was being fed both the questions and the answers. So anyway, you have a fabulous weekend, everybody, and hopefully see you here again on Sunday evening about this same time. So you take care of yourselves out there, because trust me, it's a rotten old world. So until the next one, bye bye for now.